Hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? It's a beautiful day here in northeastern Pennsylvania. I am Mike Bison. Welcome to my live stream. What's going on? I got Andrew Kelly in the house. Debbie's here. Iron. Steve Pinder's here. Okay. I figured I would give everybody a quick, basic rundown of everything that's been going on. There's been people asking me, where's the Dirty Mike and the Boy podcast been? And there's a reason for that. But before we get into all that, I'm going to let people enjoy my mildly good guitar playing. Also, tonight's stream is in no way, shape, or form brought to you by Founders Green Zebra. And also this awesome deck wash that I'm going to talk about later. We'll get into that later. I'm going to sit back and enjoy some music. Anybody care to, if you guys couldn't tell, like I said, I'm only mildly good and I only play songs that are campfire versions of the real thing. But that is my campfire version. Hey, Sauce and Bear. That is my campfire version of The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. If you've never heard that song before, it's a really good song. It's a real great folk song. And it's a story about a ship that went down on the Great Lakes, Lake Superior. Yeah, Lake Superior, I believe. And it was an iron boat, and it got caught up in a storm, in a gale storm on the Great Lakes. And it went down with 29 men and 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. When it comes to iron ore, it was loaded down with 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. Andrew, it's a great song about a shipwreck. But the funny thing is about that song is that is our official song when me and Inspector and Tomahawk 4-1 and Captain Matt, when we're fishing, that song has to be played. And if we run into bad luck, we're not getting good fishing, then we just start playing The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And our luck either turns around or it does not. It is what it is. When the winds of November came slashing, when the witch of November came stealing. I'm live. So right now I'm texting my brother because he is sitting on the front porch at my sister's house. And for those of you who have been wondering what happened to the Dirty Mike and the Boy podcast and where it's been, I was kind of getting excited. Me and my brother were both really excited to push forward on doing it a little bit more frequently and get some kind of schedule together. And then life happens, and my brother he fell victim to a horrible poolside accident, and he blew his ankle up pretty bad. The inspector is currently putting together the Lego pieces that is his ankle, and it's going to be a road to his being able to be up and mobile and everything like that again. So I would like everybody to pass on a few. If you're praying people, and I'm pretty sure everybody in here is. If you're praying people, you know what I mean. Keep my brother the inspector in your prayers, because his not the father, not the father. Yeah. So what we were gonna say was that there was a conspiracy. That, you know how there's all these people that are getting ready to storm. Me and my brother were talking on the phone before I went live, and he might pop in here, but he was going. Yeah. Has been prayers. Thank you very much, Sawson. But no, we were talking. We were just going to say that it was a conspiracy. That I was going to come on here to dispel the conspiracy theory that my brother had already prematurely stormed Area 51 and was waiting for all the rest of these retards on the internet to catch up. So that's not where he's been. My brother, just like Big Drum, is not in Detroit. My brother's not at Area 51, storming the gates of Area 51. But that being said, I am going to play a little bit more music. I do not take requests because there's only certain songs that I know. Because, like I said, I'm only mildly good. So I'm going to move on with another song. So sit back and enjoy. It's way harder to play a cigarette or play a song. You know what I mean? It's way harder to play a song and smoke a cigarette at the same time. But that was my attempt, or my campfire version of Jolene by Dolly Parton. A wonderful, wonderful country song. I mean, that is just an amazing song right there. I should have said jacuzzi. He fought off three. Yeah, he fought off 3 jacuzzis. Yeah, that's what happened. My brother was attacked in his hotel by 3 separate jacuzzis. Originally, they tried to take him down because they got his finger stuck in the little intake thing, and then the other jacuzzis tried to jump all over him, and he was able to kick one away. But in the process of kicking it, he blew his ankle to pieces. And so, you know, he got one, but then the other jacuzzi got out on him, you know. I put in a good hard day's work at my new house today, the one I'm getting. I was able to put 2 coats of paint on the chimney. The top part of the chimney had to be reparged, and I can't do that, so I let that up to a professional. But I could handle the painting, and I also fixed all the gutters, because I didn't fix all the gutters. I cleaned out all the gutters, and then there was one gutter that was just hanging on real weird by like a thread. So I put that one back up in place and just basically cleaned up generally, washed the deck. The deck hadn't been spraying. It hadn't been washed by anything for a long time. So there was a lot of like mold and algae, and it's right on a lake. So there's like all this mold and algae and stuff. And I had to go on and handle that. Honest hard work feels good on the soul. Absolutely. And you know what? The bottom line is when you're doing stuff like that, I'm not, and by the way, disclaimer, I'm in no way, shape, or form handy at all. I take advice and help from friends all the time. And that's a great thing to do when you're learning about stuff, because you don't have to, especially to be a homeowner. You know, guys, if you're out there and you think that you have to be Bob Vila, you know, if you have to be, you know, something you're not to own a home, you don't. You know, you can get by with just being mildly handy and being willing to get in there and like tear stuff apart if necessary. And it also, it's like Iron said, honest work feels good on the soul. You feel good at the end of the day, you feel accomplished. There's definitely logic to the things that you were doing. There's reason behind all of it. And then you see the product of your work. You know what I mean? Like I saw, like there was people that came by, they were like, oh, wow, the house looks great. And I'm thinking to myself, all I did was clean it and paint the chimney. You know what I mean? So it's like you can do little things and take a place that has good bones and good structure. You know, there's certain things that you have to make sure are good. You have to make sure the septic and the well are good. Electrical, plumbing, heat. The bathrooms are huge. You know, but they're because those are no mold. You don't want mold. Black mold, oof, that'll creep up on you and do bad things to you over a long period of time. But yeah, that being said, I'm gonna jump back in and play a little bit of guitar because I've had the right number of beers. 3 beers is the right number of beers for me, and then I can start playing guitar very well. So. How is the audio on the guitar? Iron, give me a 1 if the audio on the guitar is good. .95. I lost my place. I had to do some stuff real quick. I was thinking about it and I can't. Boop. Boop. There you go. Thank you. Iron Bear is now a moderator. So if you decide to get out of line, Andrew Kelly, you know right who I'm going to. I'm just going to go ban him. Too nice to ban. Yeah, we can't ban Andrew. This is he's too good a friend. I'm just joking about the banning thing. That was my attempt at Take 'Em Away by Old Crow Medicine Show. I think the song's called Take 'Em Away. Take 'em away. Take 'em away low. Take away these chains from me. My heart is broken because my spirit's not free. Oh, Lord, take away these chains from me. So I'm going to put this down for a little bit because I'm down to talk now. So a couple things. A couple things. First of all, I've been doing some diving into Chuck Missler. If you guys haven't heard of Chuck Missler, he's a very interesting guy. He's an old guy. I don't really know what his background is, but he's definitely a Christian. He kind of like puts a lot of things into perspective with the Bible, as far as the Bible's concerned, because people will try to like take away and dismiss the Bible. Yeah, Debbie knows Chuck Missler. That's awesome. He has one called Beyond Space and Time that I'm kind of like into right now, and I've been watching it and rewatching it and watching it because I'm not a subject matter expert on anything, especially not quantum mechanics and quantum physics. But I just apply the things that I can pick up and I can understand, and I put them to my own observations. And one of the things that he was saying was, okay, so this is the thing that put it in perspective for me. Whenever you're talking about people that are capital S science, and they're like, oh, the universe is just an ever expanding, constantly going off, and we're just a spinning ball in a constant, we're a spinning ball in a tiny nothing spinning ball in an ever out expanding universe that just goes on and on forever. That's meant to cause people despair. That's meant to cause you despair. That's part of fucking white coats. Come correct is in the house, I believe. So if you think about it like that, what they want to do is they want to cause you to feel like as though you're very, very minuscule. What's going on? Come correct. Gonna hold on a second real quick. Let me handle something. Boom. Shaka laka. Inspectors in the house. Absolutely. Captain Thunderpants nerd. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, just subbed. What's going on, Captain Thunderpants? That's awesome. Welcome to the party. We are talking about the universe. We're talking about God. I had a friend talk to me about how thinking about all the space and seeing a picture of Earth from 1,000,000 miles away made him feeling small and weird. See, here's the thing. That's what they want to do is they want to make you small, and but they don't want to back it up with the way it's supposed to be looked at it. So the line of good and evil goes down the center of every man's heart, right? And the universe, if you look at the universe as being 50.1% good and 49.9% evil, then which I do, there's definitely evil forces at work in our existence in our universe. If you look at that, if you think about it, that's the part that they don't tell you. All that they tell you is that you're very, very minuscule and that you don't really matter. But the line of evil, the line that separates good and evil runs down the center of every man's heart. And the universe is 50.1% good and 49.9% evil. So what that means is that the actions of the individual are insanely important. So the things that we do, even though that we're tiny, minuscule parts of this giant existence, and it is giant, it isn't a giant existence. Don't let that take away the fact that you should do good and should be trying to do good. You should be trying to do good because the actions of the individual definitely tip the scale either way, right? Come correct gets a wrench. Yeah, absolutely. Come correct gets a wrench. So the other thing. So I've been trying to size is meaningless with good and evil. Size is meaningless with good and evil. Okay, so that's a good point to bring up, right? Size is meaningless, right, when it comes to the individual. But here's the one thing that I never got until recently. So I was kind of like, I didn't believe in the devil for a long time. I didn't believe in the devil and I didn't believe in hell. I believed that God was in heaven and we were all part of his plan, and Jesus was his son and was sent to earth and was crucified for our sins. And then I was started to realize, did I kill a croc? No, I absolutely didn't kill a croc. I'm going to get to killing the crocodile here in a second. Maybe it's time for me to get to killing the croc thing. But so when I went to church. This podcast is in no way, shape, or form brought to you by Founders Green Zebra. It's good. It's watermelon ale. It has like sea salt in it. It's pretty all right. Killing the crocodile. So when I went to church this weekend, our pastor was talking about sin, and he referred to the sins that you have, because we all do, as your pet crocodile, right? So imagine if there was a guy who was a crocodile handler and he's slammed with crocodiles. They're particularly vicious animals. You know what I mean? They will rip you to death. But people hold on to their pet crocodile, right? So people hold on to their pet crocodile and don't touch that crocodile. You know what I mean? So whatever that is in your life, whatever that thing is in your life that's a crocodile, that will kill you, and you try to protect it and you try to hide it away from everybody, and it will end up killing you. This thing has a brain the size of a walnut. It doesn't understand ownership and stuff like that. I'm making pumpkin popsicles. That's weird. Oh, yeah, the Dirty Mike and the Boy podcast, Sauce and Bear, brought up another good point. The Dirty Mike and the Boy podcast will return as soon as my brother, the inspector, gets done with his top secret mission to Area 51. He was dispatched by Reddit to go to Area 51 and find out what was going on. So he's off doing some super secret wet work for the government. We can't, well, not really even the government, maybe the government. I don't know. My brother might be my handler. Who knows? First Mars, then Area 51. He's a legend. I know, right? So my brother conquers Mars with nothing but 200 cases of beer and his girlfriend, and now he's ready to take Area 51. It's mind-boggling. It boggles the mind. It's actually mind-bottling because it bottles the mind up, like it's all tense. It's all bottled up. Yeah, but the Dirty Mike and the Boy podcast will be coming back full in effect once my brother gets the Lego pieces that are his ankle put back together. The Tetris pieces. His leg is like Tetris right now. I'm not going to give away too many details. There's definitely going to be a surgery. There may be two, but we don't know. So we're going to pray for the best and prepare for the worst and be there to have your brothers, back. That's our motto, right? Keep pushing forward because you are your brother's keeper, and that's a pretty valid point. And you know what, looking back on it, the whole you are your brother's keeper thing, that really was, we didn't even really, it kind of came naturally whenever we thought about that. We were on the phone talking about it. We were like, you know what, we need to come up with a tagline and we need to figure this thing out. And then it just like kind of popped in there, you know what I mean? Because no matter what, that's the one thing, if you have a brother or a sister, or if you have somebody, I'll be better in 4 or 5 months. Hopefully we'll be streaming before that. But if you have somebody in your life who's really important to you and stuff like that, no matter what's going on in your life, you do what you can. You know what I mean? You do what you can whenever they need your back, whenever they need you to have their back. Boop, 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 boop. Please hit the thumbs up on this, share, let people know what's going on. Damn, dude, get well soon. Yeah, it's unfortunate situation, but these things happen. It is what it is. I've got 5 sisters and a brother. Hey, Michael the Slayer. Michael the Slayer is live and in full effect. And yeah, so I was talking to my friend about this, and you will run into, so it brings me to my point. So you will run into people, as if you're coming back into Christianity like I have been lately. I've always had it, but the spirit's been kind of like blowing up inside of me lately, and you will have people that try to detract or question you, and they will. You have to make sure that you let people know. You have to be able to explain your point correctly. And sometimes I think about things a lot, like we were talking about earlier with doing all that manual labor. When you're carrying bags of concrete down to the basement for a project that you're going to do in a couple days, you have time to think about like the universe and about like, God and stuff. And you just try to it's just like the whole, because you're doing something that is mindless, your mind has time to move, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it, and I'm imagining, it says in the Bible about how all of existence, can be torn. It's not an empty vacuum, that's part of the thing. Like, if Earth, or if existence was infinite, if there was no creation, and heat travels and disperses through. So, like, think about it like this: metal goes hot to cold, right? So the heat will transfer from the hot portion of the metal to the cold portion of the metal. Do we all agree? Okay, shake your head yes, because that's the way it works. So heat travels from hot to cold, right? It travels into the cold parts of stuff. So if that was the way, if that's the constant that we're going to use for how we look at the universe, right? And cold goes. Yeah, heat goes from hot to cold, right? So if we looked at it from that perspective, if the universe was infinite and had never been created and there was no starting point, then it would all be a constant temperature. Like the whole entire universe would have a constant temperature. But it's not that way. So there's always constantly something that's getting hot and cold. Cold doesn't go anywhere. There's no such thing as cold. Yeah, absolutely. Cold, there's no such thing. It doesn't go anywhere. Thank you, Iron. That's why you get a wrench. But yeah, so if you think about it like that, and if heat goes from hot to cold, then and the universe was infinite and there was no creation, thumbs up, brother, then the entire universe would be one constant temperature, but it's not. There's different temperatures throughout the universe. So that means it has a beginning, right? So if it has a beginning, it has an end. And if you look at it from that perspective, like, people will say, well, there's just the end, this ever constant universe that's constantly spilling outward, and it's infinitely big or whatever. It just constantly, it has no limits. It's infinite. That's not the case. So you look at it through what you can observe in nature, right? So there was a creation and there's an existence, but there's no end. And that's what we base all the things that all the things that are around us are created because of this one giant beginning portion, right? Rock and roll AI bot, how you doing? Salute. So if all of creation had this beginning, and then it has an existence, and everything that we see around us has a beginning, middle, and end, then that means that the entire level plane of existence that we're on has a beginning, middle, and end, because that follows the pattern. Like, show me a pattern in nature where there's a beginning and no end. It doesn't make any sense. So that's one weird thing that you can think about and just have that rolling around in your skull piece, because that's one that's been kind of on my mind. And then you think about the arrow of time. Okay, so the arrow of time, we don't even know what time is. Like, once I started to realize that we don't know what time is, we don't know what gravity is, we don't know what light is, I kind of started to think, like, wow, maybe I should do some looking into all this, because I can't just sit around all day thinking about, like, why humans don't have a mating season and all other animals have a mating season. That's weird, right? So I started to think about, like, quantum mechanics and quantum physics. Your voice sounds like Alex Jones. So the story behind my voice didn't always sound like this. My voice, actually, the reason that my voice sounds like this is a mixture of drinking whiskey, yelling a lot, smoking cigarettes, and the fact that I had Lyme's disease, which, like, really went after my vocal cords pretty hard. So now my voice sounds like this. I guess people like it, so I don't know. Amen, Joe. I mean, Mike. Hey, time is linear. If something is linear, it can be bent like a piece of paper. Okay, good point, right? So and that's the thing people don't understand. So people will try to personify God, and this is part of the thing that you have to be ready to back up if you're a person like me who's going to make claims and have faith. Like, yeah, obviously you should have faith. Hey, Sergeant Peterson, what's going on? You should obviously have faith, but some people some people either need to ask why and they have faith, or some people need to be explained to why. Even people that are new to the faith, they just don't, they want to have something that kind of like backs it up. I guess it's not doubting, so to speak, but it's just like, I have a friend of mine who's new to Christianity and the understanding of God's plan. So here's the thing, right? If you have, how can God be everywhere? They try to personify God. Here's the one thing that you have to understand: the arrow of time. So that's just like it's on a bend, right? There's a past, present, and a future. How can God know the future? How can God know the past? How can God know your heart? How can God be in charge of all this? And the thing you have to realize is because there's randomness, or because there's logic somewhere, there's logic everywhere, right? And I don't know what HAA means, but I guess it's ha. So if there's logic somewhere, then there's logic everywhere. This is all part of a creation, right? Now, and God exists outside of that. God exists outside of that existence. There's another dimension, and it's even being proven by people who are secular, who aren't religious right now. High-level math, quantum physics, string theory, all this stuff. Again, I'm not a subject matter expert on any of this. I'm just telling you what I've been told and what I'm trying to learn. That because there's logic somewhere, there's logic everywhere, and because there's a plan somewhere, there's a plan everywhere. And people will tell you that there's no plan, that we're just some spinning ball of randomness out here in a vacuum of space, and it's just not true. There's definitely a God lives outside of that. He's not bound by time. Yeah, absolutely. So why could somebody's prayers and our forefathers, our predecessors, why could they affect us today? Because God exists outside of the plane of time. Okay, so on the arrow of time, we can move forward and we can see backward. Okay, but we can't move backward and we can't see forward. So it's the arrow of time. You understand what I'm saying? And so how would we know if time was moving backward? We wouldn't have any idea. We wouldn't have any. If time started moving backwards tonight at midnight, we would in no way, shape, or form know that time is moving backward. How could you know? The only way that you could possibly know is that when things started moving from order, when things started moving from chaos to order by themselves without any intervention. Okay, so think about taking all the pieces of a Swiss watch, putting them inside of a hat, shaking them together, and then throwing them on the table, and there's a Swiss watch. Okay, not only you'll hear people like Neil deGrasse Tyson say that the chances that this universe could come to existence and that there could be life on the planet Earth is as there's such a jackpot lottery shot of a chance that if it's like putting all the pieces of a Swiss watch into a sock and shaking them up and throwing them on the table and there being a Swiss watch. Well, that is complete bullshit, okay? Because order, without any kind of order or any kind of logic, you won't be able to make that. There's no randomness, there's no chance, there's no chaos that you can add to something that's going to cause order because time is flowing forward. Does that make sense? The only way that you're able to build a Swiss watch is if you build it with logic and reason. Okay? You could have the parts in a hat or in a sock or in a fucking whatever and shake it all up and throw it on the table a bazillion times. You are never going to add chaos to pieces and cause them order. The only way that would happen is if time was going backwards. If time was going backwards, you would add chaos to something and you would get order. That's the only way that we would ever know that time was moving backwards. Because we look into the statistical likelihood of a functional protein forming naturally in the perfect soup of amino acids. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like people will tell you, and be ready whenever, if you decide to be that person who stands up and says that the theory of evolution is complete fucking bullshit, be ready to stand your ground. Okay. And that's part of it right there. All these people that are capital S science, they want you to believe that, it's all luck, that it's all random, that it's all, I'm too stupid for this conversation. Come correct. All you have to do is a little bit of, and I think you're already on the path, buddy. You're already on the path, man. Just keep thinking about stuff. You know what I mean? And you'll get there. If you're too stupid for this conversation, I'm too stupid to be hosting this conversation 100%. Shut your dirty mouth. Come correct. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Don't talk. We don't have despair here in this hangout. We don't have despair here on this stream. But yeah, so if you were to think about it, like the only way that you would know that time was going backwards is if you lived your day-to-day life in your house and it got cleaner. Just that in itself right there, because how many times have you ever cleaned your house or done a bunch, and then you go and do a bunch of things, and then the next thing you know, the house is dirty again, right? Because existence causes chaos. We have to introduce order as individuals. That's why the line that runs down the center of every man's heart separates good and evil. Even though we are very, very minuscule in this world, we have to institute order in our own lives, and in our own lives is important, right? And you try to help people along the way to find the order in their own lives. Causation is the backbone of reality. I like that. I'd like to think about that a little bit before I go ahead and back it up and say that I'm 100%. But causation is the backbone of reality. It's very interesting. I think code is a strong word, Michael. Each person's DNA is a code. All codes need an author. All codes need an author. I don't know if code is necessarily a strong word, but if you look at it too, like you look at the plan, and the more you start accepting the plan, like that's the part where faith comes into it, right? So if you start accepting the plan, you start accepting good into your life, and you start accepting order into your life, and logic and reason and Jesus Christ into your life. You know what I mean? That's what it is. As soon as you start accepting that, you start to, at least in my own experience and other people's experience that I know, that you start to reap the benefits, and you start to see the plan. And remember when, I don't know if you guys remember, but in my last stream, we were talking about, fuck your plan. Your plan sucks. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. You start, and it's not like a submission to, but it's just understanding that it's all part of the plan. And once you start accepting the plan, good things will happen around you. I have faith in that. And, you can dispute me if I'm wrong, but, and you might think, God, I really would love to have this. I'd really love to have this thing. I'd really love to be, have this part of me, but pray for strength. Pray for strength and pray for healing and people around you. You know what I mean? Don't pray for your plan to be enacted, because guess what? Your plan sucks. And when you realize that what he has planned for you is so much better than anything that you could possibly ask for, it's mind-blowing. You know what I mean? It's a mind-blowing thing to think about. So mind-blowing that it can break you down to your knees. You know what I mean? It can take a strong man and break you down. And that's the thing too. Like, you should always, Andrew Womack. I'll check out some Andrew Womack. What if I have faith that the watch parts will come out of the sock as a whole watch? I believe that you would be putting faith in a plan that doesn't have any logic or reason and is completely outside of a real expectation. Okay. That almost seems like you're trying to perform a magic trick. Have faith that the right thing is supposed to happen. Have faith that something, what he has planned for me is so much better than anything that I could have, so much better than any Swiss watch could ever be. The Bible has said that through faith you can do anything, even move mountains. Yeah, but you'll move mountains in a way that you didn't plan. You won't be able to physically just push them like you can imagine. You'll be able to move mountains of debt. You'll be able to move mountains of despair. You'll be able to move mountains of sorrow and depression, and you'll be able to move mountains off of your chest. You'll be able to move whatever those mountains are that are physically impossible to get the springs into position without a specific tension or tool. So agreed, Iron. That's a definite agreed. standing next to a mountain, I chop it down with the edge of my hand. Okay, yeah, a little bit of Jimi Hendrix. How's that sound? Stranger things have happened with Faith Iron. Okay, so a movie about faith that I will recommend to everybody in here if you have not seen it, because that's one of the things I've been trying to do. Is I've been trying to I don't have cable. Like, I'm not paying $120 a month to be able to change channels. And plus, like, cable, like TV, too much TV isn't good for you, you know? Too much screen time isn't good for you. Get outside and do stuff. Get sunburnt. Build a fence. Paint a chimney. We're going to wash a deck. Paint a house. Do whatever the hell you got to do, but do something outside, you know? So if you want to see a really, really good movie about faith, watch The Book of Eli with Denzel Washington. That is a great freaking movie. That movie had me stirred up, man. And if you want to talk about something that's the plan, my friend, who is a great friend of mine, he recommended this. We watched this movie like a couple of months ago. Okay. And he recommended that we go, he was like, dude, you got to watch this movie. It's awesome. I was like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? And, after a couple, he's again, hey man, let's watch this movie. You know what I mean? No, man, I'm good. And then finally, he was like, dude, you got to see this movie. I sat down and watched it, and I was ready for it. You know what I mean? I was finally ready for this movie. And the message that it brought in there is like, have faith. So this dude is, I'm not going to spoiler it for anybody. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but there's a lot of really great, a lot of great stuff in it. There's a great twist at the end. There's a great Faustian deal. I love a good Faustian deal. You know, you can have all the cookies in the world, but you can't taste them. You know what I mean? Or you can read all the books on the face of the earth, but you dropped your glasses and broke them, so now you can't read anything. Yeah, and there's tons of killing too. Denzel Washington is like he's pretty BA. You know what I mean? He doesn't kill anybody that doesn't deserve to die, which I respect. But, you know, he gets it done. So, listen, I've been live, and Mila Kunis in her prime-ish. Yeah, Mila Kunis is pretty good in it. She's great. She's a great supporting actress in that movie, at least. So I've been going live for about 42 minutes. I'm going to grab one more beer. I'm going to open it up to questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys need to say. I'm going to run in, grab this beer, and type them in. And I'm probably going to round the horn on this in a couple minutes. So hit the like, hit the share, at Mike Bison 4 on Twitter and Mike_Bison 5 on Instagram. Go ahead. Say what you got to say. Do what you got to do. Oh, hey, I got a new subscriber, Major Victory. That's cool. Always love to have a new sub. Close. Debbie, what's your question? And it better be something I'm a subject matter expert in. Hey, Tomahawk 41's in the house. Tomahawk 41, possibly the greatest Delta on the face of the earth. Tomahawk 41. He believes in competency. He values competency above all else. I don't know what it is, but I have all the questions. We all have questions. Well, everybody, it's a nice night. Thank God for this wonderful night. Say a little prayer. Say a little prayer for each other. Say a little prayer for my brother. Oh yeah, big up to Semper Bear. After I close this out, he just went live. So sweet deck. Yeah, thanks. Semper Bear just went live, so I think I'm gonna head out, call it a night. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I love you guys. Keep on keeping in the free world. Boop, boop, boop.